St. Regis now. Had an awesome night's sleep at a Super 8. I've never been to one of those. But there was no real campground near the exit. I would have had to climb up a mountain to go stay in a campground. And I wasn't really wanting to do that. Either way, a lot of highway noise in any campground around here because it's small little towns that are basically supported by the highway traffic. And today I'm gonna go over one of my 2 last passes, which I don't think is a big deal, but people talk about it like it might be. I tried to look it up on the internet, but I found nothing about it. Like information about how many feet to climb or whatever. It's called the Lookout Pass.
At 4,710 feet in elevation, Lookout Pass is located in the Coeur Mountains of the Bitterroot Range and on the border of the states of Montana and Idaho. Not being necessarily a very high pass and with a downhill that follows looking like a long one, I'm psyched to reach its summit and start descending. It's now early October, and I'm on a mission riding as much as I can each day on Interstate 90 in hopes of reaching Seattle before the next winter storm arrives.
What a morning! Absolutely spectacular. More. There's my FedEx driver honking at me. He must have seen my last post. I'm just going nice and easy, taking my time. I don't want to go through here too fast. I'm really enjoying it. That's what's cool about solo riding. You just go at your own pace and nobody's dictating it, either too slow or too fast. Whatever you feel like doing, you do, and you're not thinking about somebody else. And it's a lot of fun to be with other riders too. But overall, for me, bicycle touring is a solo event because of that reason. You do as many miles as you want to or not, or all your struggles are your own. It just keeps going. This is like the enchanted forest of all forests. What? Like I'm enveloped in pine trees. Woo! So pretty. And then there's the river. The river's right there. What a special ride.
Even though I prefer riding on my own, I always look forward to meeting with others to bicycle tour with. It's always a bit sad to say goodbye after several days sharing these adventures with company, but once I get used to being alone again, I find a strong sense of happiness in the solitude and the ability to ride at my own pace. There is also the safety component that is missing when riding alone. One of the biggest concerns is being pushed off the road and not having someone to help you if in need. There is no doubt that long-distance bicycle touring carries its dangers, but every cyclist can mediate their own level of exposure to these dangers involved.
It's hard not to stop every 2 minutes. I'm just like zigzagging through the very bottom of the base of these 2 mountains, which are right next to each other. Totally lush, thick with like pine trees. I haven't seen thickness like this in South Carolina and Tennessee and the East Coast. And the river is crystal clear water, like gin clear. Unbelievable. And it goes right alongside the road, so I'm just going back and forth over the river on the bridges of the highway. It's one of the most scenic roads I've been on.
The St. Regis River runs eastwardly for 32 miles starting at Lookout Pass and ending at St. Regis where it meets up with the Clark Fork River. Being the largest river by volume in the state of Montana, the Clark Fork River runs 310 miles northwesterly into Idaho at the base of the Cabinet Mountains. It starts near Butte, Montana as the Silverboat Creek and empties into Lake Pend O'Reilly in the Idaho Panhandle. From there, it continues as Pend O'Reilly River, a tributary of the Columbia River, which eventually drains into the Pacific Ocean.
I think it's only like a 4 mile uphill. but I'm kind of nostalgic about it because I'm gonna miss climbing these mountains, and even though this one is potentially not that bad, I'm gonna miss climbing.
Lookout Pass is not the most challenging climb of my summer, but I cherish every mile as I know that it will be one of the last 2 passes left for me to climb before ending my trip. By now I have climbed over 5 passes, and with every one I have gained more strength. There is a meditative quality to climbing for me. Once I find that right gear to pedal on, I just drift away into thoughts and enjoy the constant resistance of the grade. More often than not, I play music on headphones, and before I know it, I'm at the top looking forward to the speedy descent ahead. Especially today as I cross into Idaho. I was rewarded with one of the longest downhills of my trip.
Time to start climbing. The scenery is insane. Look at these pine trees, they're so tall. And so tight. Two more miles in Montana. Knocking it out. Not a heavy grade at all. It's just fun climbing.
Once I reached the top of Lookout Pass, I took a few minutes to recharge and prepare for the descent into Idaho. In just a few hundred yards, I'll be leaving Montana behind. These last 3 weeks I toured through this state were special ones, but Idaho and Washington are now in front of me, and even though I'll be spending more time on Interstate 90, I will also be riding 4 different rail trails before reaching Seattle. The first of these bicycle-friendly trails is the Coeur d'Alene Trail and is only a few miles ahead of me. Before then, though, I have a spectacular downhill to race down on.
Let's go! Let's go back up and do it again. Woo! I didn't hit 40, but I was close. All right, back to it. I've never been to Idaho, so it feels nice to move into another state. Downhill since I came over the border. It's not the cleanest shoulder, I gotta be real careful, but and it's got the washboards, but wow, Helena to Wallace, Idaho. You can make like a 7-day trip of that, mostly a slight downhill and then the phenomenal drop from Lookout Pass into Idaho. That was amazing, and it still is. It just keeps going. So I'm gonna
get off of I-90 because the Coeur d'Alene, I think is how it's pronounced, trail is right here. And it goes a long ways. So it's super clean, no traffic, and it's gonna be right along the highway for another 20 miles. So I'm gonna go chill out on it. This is absolutely fantastic, and I have heard from a lot of people on my trip about this trail being just spectacular. Running 73 miles between the cities of Moulin and Plummer is the Trail of the Coeur d'Alene. It was developed by a partnership with the Coeur d'Alene Tribe, Union Pacific Railroad, the US government, and the state of Idaho. It's located in the Silver Valley along the Coeur d'Alene River, past Lake Coeur d'Alene, and through miles of scenic farmland.
Woo! How beautiful is this? Unbelievable!
What a day I had! It started with Interstate 90 meandering through spectacular thick pine forest and the crystal clear St. Regis River by my side. Then climbing Lookout Pass, which was not difficult at all in either grade or length, followed by a close to 40-mile-per-hour downhill for close to 20 minutes. And now I find myself on one of the smoothest trails on a never-ending mellow downhill.
I'm having too much fun. This is ridiculous. I don't even have to pedal. Yeah, I do have to, but barely. What a fun day.
After spending the night in a motel in the city of Kellogg, I get back on the trail of the Coeur d'Alene and start heading towards Spokane, Washington. The fastest route to getting there and continuing westward leads me back onto Interstate 90. The weather is on my side, and I plan on taking advantage of it as I'm on a time crunch and need to head back home soon.
This trail is so peaceful right now. I wouldn't mind being on it for longer than I'll be able to. It's only 10 miles that I'll ride it this morning, and I'm already 5 in. After this, I gotta get on I-90 and get on the shoulder again, which I love to do too. It's really a hard call which one I like most, but I would say I would take the interstate before the trail. I don't know why, but I enjoy the commotion of the trucking business and the trains and whatever else is around the highways most times. Either way, this trail continues, but it continues south, and it'll end up in a town called Plummer. And from there is a trail that goes all the way to Seattle, but it's a dirt path, and I can't be messing around with time right now. I have to get to the West Coast before a snowstorm comes in and chokes me out. I gotta get back home. See if I can buy some time once I get to Seattle. I can go explore the Olympia National Forest, which is drawing me big time considering it's right next to the Pacific and it's completely different nature to check out.
These peaceful 10 miles this morning on a quiet trail eventually proved to be deceiving ones. I'm heading right into one of the most chaotic and dangerous days of my trip. After getting off the trail of the Coeur d'Alene in Cataldo and back onto Interstate 90, I rode 60 anxious miles to Spokane, Washington. The traffic was crazier than I have seen yet, with heavy congestion and seemingly hectic driving. For now, I take in the beauty of this phenomenal Idaho trail and enjoy every mile before entering the coming mayhem.